Hi everybody, welcome back. Today I will be doing the Monday reading for YouTube. And yeah, let's find out how this week is gonna go, and yeah, pretty much. Focusing on this week, what it means, where we're going, things we need to know. Still in that Aries energy, so I'm going to be trying to focus on that. What's going to show us this week? Alrighty. So we've got the Seven of Pentacles, Three of Cups reversed, and that would be Ten of Wands. Okay. Well, we can see a person who's hard at work, trying to make money. Something is not a union. Three of Cups usually represents like teamwork, togetherness, enjoyment. Could sort of see like a pumpkin in the background. Usually that represents like harvest time and abundance, and Ten of Wands usually represents overworking, or I usually take this card where you can sort of see the city in the background. And that sort of represents the fact that this person, there's a town that they know they're walking to. But all of this, stuff, maybe the rest of the week, sort of clouding the judgment of the person, so they can't even tell that how far the city is anymore, because they've just scooped it all up at once and trying to get to the destination as quickly as possible. Looking at all this that we're trying to gain and work towards. So maybe you feel like you're carrying a lot, maybe in your work week, or your just day-to-day life, whatever it is you're doing. There's a lot of things that are work, Maybe you have a lot of laundry, or, you have to wash the dishes and your roommate's not washing the dishes. It's like you're troubled, but you know that you're doing it. You know there's a city. You know that you're working hard towards your goals. You just don't feel necessarily unity in that thing. Let's get some clarity on that. I'm really sorry, that sucks. Sometimes I'm like, one of my cards in the background just fall over. It says, my body works so hard for me. I usually do these at the end. It's the Little Frog's Guide to Self-Care. My body works so hard for me. Yay! So maybe you're doing a lot of physical work. Maybe that's what the Ten of Wands symbolized. So you're doing a lot of really hard work. Maybe you're It's almost sort of the Fool, like you're jumping into a new beginning. The Fool card. Interesting. Yeah, working hard. I mean, it is the Monday reading. We got the case of the Mondays. Some clarity on this. What can this person do to sort of alleviate some of this pressure? Get a small confirmation verb there. Sort of a doubt feeling. What can this person do in this coming week to remedy this overworked feeling? Can they say sideways? Knight of Cups. Sort of waiting to see if, seeing how this story will progress, you know, at least, yeah, to me, that's the interpretation of left to right, because that's the way, you know, you read English. That's an interesting thing. Maybe something to do with another language that goes left to right. Communication. Worried that someone or something is angry. And like there's this big mission kind of going up ahead. Like, am I gonna climb this mountain by myself? Am I just gonna take my cup and go? From the Three of Cups, you know? Am I just gonna take my portion of this and go? I had some of that in my last readings. Of like something about the unity of things. Should I stay or should I go? Okay. That's a good song. So any more clarity? Is there any clarity on this decision with this person? Do they want to go? Do they want to... Knight of Pentacles. Interesting. Another knight. Money. Startup. Beginning. Almost a spinning wheel. Wheel of Fortune energy. Making the decision. Sort of the other side of the mountain. I look at it. So interesting, the difference between the two, but the similarities. Yeah. The wings, like finding the courage to go. Sort of like a leafiness, fruitfulness. That was another thing, something about fruits last time, in the last reading. Working hard, my body works so hard for me. Put her back sideways. We don't forget. Something about forgetting. It felt important. Something about not wanting to forget. Okay. We're sort of crooked. Okay. A lot of cards in this clarification. So, oh, 3. I love it when it's good. Crispy 3. This deck, I pulled her out. She likes to give me a good old 3. I appreciate that. So the moon in reverse, the sun, the emperor, all reversed. Remember the... The moon card can hold a lot of meaning. It's like a duality of like these two forces. Like, if you've ever heard the saying that in India there are two wolves, These are like the two wolves. One is calm, the other is like angry. You have the two towers in the back. Maybe something about feeling kind of shaky. Maybe you're working a little. Maybe you need to remember how hard your body works for you. Well, I just heard like a little falling in my area over here. So it could be a confirmation to take a minute. I think back to the 10 of Wands earlier. That can definitely be a card of like you're overburdened. And it could be because you feel like you gotta go out on your own. You gotta make this money. This card in reverse can also kind of represent hidden things. Sorry about that. Shaking. A lot of confirmation going on. I just had to pause to put my cat outside my room, and it landed on 1123. So sort of like a 1, 2, 3 go kind of situation. And now I feel like very out of breath, which is so like, yeah, I definitely pick up an energy of like tired. Like you're tired. Ooh. And now my fan is picking up. Which usually I like associate with sort of a negative energy. Fascinating. All right, well, we're gonna get through the rest of it. Trust and believe. Okay. The Moon card can represent deception, hidden things, but when reversed and literally, why does it feel easier to breathe now that I sprayed the perfume? That doesn't track, does it? No. Okay, interesting. It can represent like deceptions. It can represent, and I keep going back to that, but the reason when it is flipped, that represents you becoming knowledgeable, getting clarity on these things. Like, you've seen the dark side of the moon. You've seen the man in the moon. You've seen the rabbit in the moon. You know what's up at this point. That's why you kind of feel this way. The sun, again on a horse. This could literally mean someone's son, because the Emperor. Notice all the rams. We are in the middle of Aries season, which is sort of like represented by, what do you call that? The ram, right? And so it's a very youthful energy. It's sort of like one of the babier signs. And seeing as how there's like a little baby riding on the horse, it's definitely like someone's like son. And then having the sun and the moon with these two cards. That also came up in another reading the other day. And again, I got another confirmation shake. Yeah. Like, it's murky, but it also feels like it's all here. Someone is overburdened. And they're thinking about going off on their own. They're worried about money. Working on our money. Feeling abandoned by support. and feeling overburdened and then leaving. Maybe you recently got a car. Got another confirmation shake. Okay. So maybe transportation is easier now. And that's why this knight is upright. And this one was only sideways. But this one, again, confirmation. Okay. Yeah, okay, so maybe you just got a car. And you're needing to remember, you know, my body works so hard for me. I'm not a robot. I have to sustain myself. You have to sustain a car too. You know, engines and all sorts of things. So even when people are like, I'm not a robot, it's like, girl, even a robot needs transmission fluids and, you know, wiper fluid and tune-ups and to rotate your tires, and you gotta clean out your microwave and all of these things. Like, everything, even like if you make a water system, you constantly have to like keep it up. Gosh. Yeah. There's definitely a negative energy. Sorry about that. Okay. Well, my fan has decided to bring along that because it wants me to finish up. Well, let's just say someone wants me to finish up. Any advice for this person? I hope you all remember that you are stronger than any negative force. Yeah, like, get your evil eyes out, get your obsidian, your selenite, your clear quartz, you know, all of those things. But just remember, you alone, there is so much power in saying no. And I'm getting confirmation shakes. Just remember that. You're worth time, you're worth money, you're worth energy. Those negative people, a strong no is a very valid response. So I just hope you all know that, and that you're very strong people. I'm going to say that again. You're very strong people. And any negative energy around you, you're dealing with me now. So you better leave them alone. Even through technology, I truly believe that people have the ability to help one another. I've experienced it. So just in this particular magical space, being vulnerable and honest, I believe that. And I cast out negative fucking energy. Okay. Let's chill. What is this person? What can they do? The Hierophant. What can they do to help themselves? Cast out negative energy. Show me what this person can do to better themselves in this situation. To calm themselves with this overworking mind. Confirmation, but Knight of Pentacles. And at the top of the deck, even a King of Swords in here. But, you know, if I keep pulling, I'll just keep pulling. But Knight of Pentacles, you're already on the right path. The Hierophant can represent seeking out spiritual places, which is what you're doing right now. So maybe it's saying a crystal shop, or go for a walk, or if you're a religious person, maybe talk to somebody who holds like some sort of ability there. And the Nine of Cups. Lots of abundance here. Very different than, you know, the first. And keys. Let's come up for me personally. So yeah, you're surrounded by abundance. You're going towards abundance. You have it. You're fighting for it. And you just need some peace. This card isn't meaning that's gullibility, but it's like someone wants you to feel gullible or something. But you're not. Something about yarmulkes, maybe? Something about a woman. Sort of. Yeah. Crosses. King of Swords. Someone is really also. King of Swords. Yeah. Well, from one person to another, very sorry for anyone who thinks that they can bother you. Sorry how they're affecting you. But also, you know, karma. Karma's an interesting person. She's an interesting goddess, and I think anyone who wants to mess with the scales, no matter what you believe in, there is even among, you know, things like Christianity and stuff, there's things like do unto others as you wish to be done unto you. I think a lot of people get caught up in the whole, well, forgiving all, and they know not what they do, but it's like, oh, well, sometimes you do know what you're doing. And, you know you shouldn't be doing that. And you have only guidance in the world to not do it. Because, you know, Judas also traded Jesus for a bag of silver. So, and sort of the karma of that situation was, well, now you have to live with yourself. Not that I want the bad thing. I don't want bad things to happen to anybody. But, you know, I wish people wouldn't do that to anyone. Okay, let's finish it off with something positive. This is our little frog's guide to self-care, self-love, empowerment, and affirmations. Oh, got a little booklet in there. All right. What's a good affirmation for this person to hear going forward? What is it that they need to hold on to? And what do they need? What do they want? Alright, we got two sideways. I know that my thoughts are not always true. It's so brave of me to exist. And look. Trying to accept that we're brave for existing exactly as we are in a world that tells us we can't be, even though you can be exactly as you are. My thoughts are not always true, so maybe that's it. You're trying to accept that it's okay to be yourself and that there's bravery in that. And that my body works so hard for me. Well, I'm really proud of this energy and just the willingness to be okay after a hard time. There's this Rose Kennedy quote that I love, and it's something along the lines of, I'm gonna bring her out again because she's just a lovely little bird locket, and it's birds sing after a storm. Why shouldn't people feel free to delight in whatever light remains to them? And that is very much in the energy of what I'm picking up on, of like, well, you know, maybe this situation isn't working out. Maybe it went from day to night, and it just doesn't make sense, and now you feel really like you worked really hard for this money, and now you're moving on and you don't even know where you're going, but you're existing anyway. You see the abundance all around you, and that you are okay, and you're going to be okay. Yeah. I would do a smoke cleansing, but of course I cannot find my lighters because, well, got my own negative energy going on. You can hear it in the fan, hopefully not in the background. But, yeah. I hope you're doing well, and you know that there's lots of people who believe in you and want you to do well. Even if there are negative people, you don't have to listen to them. And you can tell them no. Okay. It's been wonderful. Thank you for stopping by. Bye-bye.